I know you're not going to be surprised, but here we go. Senator John Cornyn.
Okay.
Well,
Cornyn,
I'm sure his is coming any second. John Cornyn, Republican from Texas. It really comes down to how do you prioritize your time? I don't know of anybody who believes that Chuck Schumer, who's the leader of the Dems over in the Senate, will take it up and actually have a trial and convict a sitting president. Then goes on to say, then here's Marco Rubio.
Wait. What does it take, Cornyn? I mean, we have, just take this, for example. All of this, half of this corruption happened in Ukraine. We are currently sending, we might as well make sure that they're all in 20s and unmarked and, no serial numbers in order. We're sending billions over to Ukraine and nobody's watching it. I mean, the dumbest person in the room. Do you actually believe that all of that is going to fight the war? Do you believe 60% of it? Do you believe 40% of it is going to fight the war? Or is it lining the pockets? We are now sending that money over. That is where this corruption that we're talking about with Burisma happened, with the same people in charge on both sides. And it could end in World War III and nuclear weapons. I don't know. I think this is pretty important. Oh, by the way, the rest of the corruption happened in China, who, if we do go to war, will take Taiwan and wipe us. I don't understand how, I mean, this isn't the Clintons in Haiti, which was bad enough. Hello? This is leading us into really bad places.
It shows, first of all, on Ukraine, we mentioned this the other day, and I'm sure you guys talked about it, but Zelensky just had to fire his defense minister for corruption. Yeah. So it's to this day, they're taking our $60 billion and giving it to God knows whom for who knows what, and we're supposed to be over here just waving our Ukrainian flags saying, go, 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 go.
And you notice that wasn't made into a big deal here? Whose money are they? We're paying for their Social Security. They have no money.
Yeah, we are.
When we are sending money over there, it's supposed to go to the Defense Department. And they're not, it's not like they have a lot. They're taking our money and he's dismissed for corruption. With whose money? How come nobody cared here?
Well, and this is one of the questions. So if Joe Biden's been compromised in some way, if they actually did pay him a $10 million bribe, and there are people right now in Ukraine who know that and can prove that, what position is he in we thought he was in charge of Ukraine policy when his VP. How about now? Now that he's the president, he's really in charge of Ukraine policy. So nobody wants to look into it. Cornyn, Rubio came out and said attempting to impeach a sitting president should generally be avoided for the interest of the country. It can't become routine. Well, of course, but these guys don't understand how to fight, Glenn. Do you think the Democrats thought that they were going to get Trump when he had a Republican Senate, when they impeached him not once but twice? They almost got him in the second one. They knew they weren't going to get him. They tried. They wanted to make a point. The Republicans they weren't rolling over before the fight even begins.
But I don't want to make a point. This is every impeachment that I've gone through in my lifetime. I remember Nixon. I was really small, but I remember Nixon. Crime. Clinton. Crime of perjury. Does that rise high enough? The president shouldn't lie. Well, we've settled that one. Then the Trump stuff. That wasn't impeachment. This is high crimes. This is the president taking bribes from our enemies and doing business with really corrupt people, using our banking system the way terrorists use our banking system. Remember, we spent all that time making sure that we monitor everything, and our president said, we want to make sure people are paying taxes. That's why we have to have $80 million, and we're going to look at everybody who's, making a withdrawal of $600. Really? You're using this to why we have all of this terrorist apparatus around our country to protect us from really bad guys. And that's the way you're doing business. This is not about making a point. In fact, if Joe Biden dropped dead today, I still would be for finishing this investigation and then taking a stand legally on it. This is corruption at the highest level. If this isn't stopped, what do you think the next group of people will do?
Well, I mean, one would like to believe we might find somebody with a little bit more tethered, who's a little bit more tethered to the ethics. But listen,
I remember when I was young and naive too.
Listen, as you point out, for all of President Trump's problems, they didn't come close to looking like this. Yes, no. Jared Kushner got a great deal with a investment fund with the Saudis after Trump left office. And now he's not going to be in the government if Trump goes back into the office. That is not the same. This is an allegation that while the sitting vice president, Joe Biden, took money or at a minimum understood that his son was in a position to bargain for himself and his own money. And the quid pro quo in this was Joe Biden's policy changes on behalf of the United States. Here's Chris Christie, who's running for president, just in case you forgot, as a Republican on Morning Joe in anticipation of this announcement.
I don't see evidence yet that would support impeaching Joe Biden. And I think we're cheapening impeachment by doing that kind of thing. I criticized Democrats for doing that over the Ukraine issue a number of years ago on impeachment. And I don't want my party to fall a victim to the same thing. But I do think it's important for it to be investigated because there are too many connections now, too many inconsistencies in the president's story and what he has said and what others have said who are apparently witnesses to his participation in helping Hunter Biden with his business. So we need to know the facts on that. And then we can make an intelligent decision about whether the facts exist to move forward to something more serious.
Oh, my God. That's exactly what they're doing. Yep, but that's what they're doing. They're not impeaching him today. They are putting together an inquiry to find all of the facts. So I don't know what your point is.
Which steps up their subpoena power, as Nancy Mace said, it is one thing to be pursuing a legislative interest. The Wall Street Journal had an editorial on this today. It should be pursuing a legislative interest and drop subpoenas on banks. They will not always comply. Your ability to go into court and to force them to comply is not as strong as it would be in the context of an impeachment inquiry at which Congress's subpoena power is at its apex. So it is and by the way, the Biden administration has been stonewalling this inquiry from the beginning. So how is it a response by them or their defenders to say, there's no evidence? You've been preventing it. You have been the opposite of an open book. Go ahead, Glenn.
I know that when I was doing the Trump impeachment, I entered that when they first impeached him, I went to my staff and I said, okay, let the cards fall where they may. Let's find out what the heck is going on, everything we can. And I really thought maybe there is something, with him in Russia or whatever. And I would be willing to expose it because I don't want my president, being on the take. What we found was this corruption of Biden, and the entire left was involved. Let's not forget Tony Podesta and everybody else that was involved in this. It is a big, wide game. And I remember, and I can't remember exactly if it's 72, but I think it's 72 yellow tickets, which banks send out to the Treasury to say, you should investigate this. 72 times the Treasury Department was warned. This looks like money laundering. And we tracked back what we could. And then we showed how you money launder, where you money launder, what banks you would use, what are the notorious banks, what are the notorious areas in the world. And they all matched up. Now, that's quite a coincidence. 72 warnings is pretty darn high for nobody to do an investigation.
What else?
Go ahead.
And as somebody who, you talk about openly having a family history of addiction, not only did Joe Biden let Hunter Biden sit on that Burisma board for $1 million a year while Joe was running Ukraine corruption policy, right? So that's period. That's enough, period, right there. But not only did he do that, he did it at a time when we now know from Hunter's book and his court appearances recently, in which he had to detail the details or the specifics of his addiction, he was actively in and out of inpatient rehab, failing, snorting cocaine off of everything he could get his hands on, smoking crack. Joe Biden knew. You've heard bedding and apparel brands say they're the softest and most comfortable, but do they promise that that's the case? At Cozy Earth, you get the softest, most luxurious feeling fabric, guaranteed. That means if you do not love Cozy Earth's bamboo sheets, you have 100 days to get your money back. But they're not worried about refunds, because once you try Cozy Earth, you are hooked for life. Start with Cozy Earth's best-selling bamboo sheet set, the thing that started it all. Made of 100% premium viscose from bamboo. Super soft, ethically sourced sheets, which regulate your temperature, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. And it's not just sheets. They have pajamas, loungewear, love the loungewear, bath towels, and much more. Unbelievably soft and unforgettably comfortable. The coziest way to make your home a sanctuary. Don't forget Cozy Earth's guarantee. All of their products can be returned or exchanged within 100 days and include an additional 10-year warranty against defects. Go to CozyEarth.com, enter code Megyn at checkout for up to 40% off your order right now. CozyEarth.com, promo code MEGYN, CozyEarth.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.